Imagine the following scenario. You run a restaurant in a small town and you leave work one night after a long and grueling month. You're carrying $17,000 in earnings with you to buy much needed supplies and equipment for your business. Cruising down the highway with your lady, you're pulled over by the police. But instead of getting issued a proper ticket, you're randomly detained for hours with no charges and little explanation. Despite that, your entire savings is then taken by the police, never to be seen again, perhaps even after enduring a costly and arduous legal battle. At the end of the day, no criminal charges were ever filed, and the police justification for stealing your money is that it must have been for drugs. As a result of suddenly having no means to pay bills or employees, you have to shut down the restaurant you were hoping to leave one day for your 4 children. It's exactly what happened to one African-American man named Mandrell Stewart, just one of tens of thousands of victims of highway robbery by police. Amazingly, this egregious tactic, which disproportionately affects low-income minorities, is somehow legal in every state across the country. It's called civil asset forfeiture, and it's a tool that allows law enforcement to seize property under the supposition that it's involved with criminal activity. Essentially, it's the act of charging inanimate objects like cars, homes, money, and other valuables with a crime in order to justify their seizure without ever having to actually charge the property owner with any crime. Usually, the scam is premised on minor traffic violations as the reason to stop people, and then police will use their discretion as to whether or not the suspect was nervous during the encounter to then search his or her property. Stewart's case is only one of 400 property seizures from 17 states observed by the Washington Post in a recent in-depth report, which outlined numerous heart-wrenching examples of people whose lives were utterly ruined by this scheme. Many also don't have the ability to navigate the legal system or the financial means to take the fight to court. When all is said and done, the legal fees to fight the cops could sometimes triple the damages, leaving people in more debt than when they started. Civil forfeiture examples range from the absurd to the tragic. In Philadelphia, police seized the home of 2 sisters because their brother, who didn't live there, tried to evade the cops. In Detroit, law enforcement stole over 100 vehicles owned by people simply patronizing an art event because the venue had failed to get a liquor license, according to the Heritage Foundation. And like every other police overreach program in this country, this practice has exploded since 9/11, increasing a whopping 250% when widespread training programs were implemented with the financial support of the Department of Homeland Security and the Justice Department. In fact, the Washington Post found that 61,998 seizures occurred outside of businesses and without warrants or indictments since 9/11, according to a FOIA request. So, what happens to the cash and property once it's stolen by cops? Well, the DHS, DOJ, and police all reap the spoils, allocating the funds to salaries, equipment, and other perks under a program known as equitable sharing, according to the ACLU. And the DOJ's own data shows that the amount of money acquired through this program has skyrocketed from just under $200 million in 2002 to $657 million in 2013. Look, this program has no place in an alleged constitutional republic. The fact that police are abusing their power to literally rob poor people across the country and hoard the wealth for themselves is a disgrace. Even worse, it's operating under a legal framework that somehow makes this justified. Look, in countries like Mexico, at least cops will openly take bribes to let you go on your merry way. But in America, the fact that people are forking over their entire life savings to police makes you wonder how much we've really evolved since the days of the Wild West.